Charlie is a 2021 high school graduate where he finished his senior year with a 4.0 grade point average. He credits his ability to thrive during distance learning in part to his 2020-2021 experiences in Centers for Spiritual Living online classes and camp. He has a deep love for theater and music, and most recently was honored as a thespian president. Charlie received the Performing Arts Award for excellence and commitment in his theater program. Charlie has been an active teen since his first CSL summer camp in 2018 and was recently elected to serve as a CSL International Teen Leader. His greatest desire is to increase diversity awareness, especially for the LGBTQIA+ community. As a male transgender teen, he has experienced firsthand the positive impact this teaching provides. Charlie is a leader in his CSL community, is a regular guest speaker at his center, and looks forward to spreading his message of love, acceptance, and celebration throughout the world. I love you, Charlie. Charlie Usey.
CSL Convention. I'm so happy to be here with you, or at least on screen with you. My name is Charlie Usey, and I have been a teen from the Las Vegas Center for Spiritual Living for the last 4 years. And today, I'm so excited that I get to share with you and tell you a story that is definitely reflective of all the great lessons that teens embrace in this teaching, such as the creative process. You know, I say that the mind is the most powerful spiritual tool that we have because with one single thought, you are able to manifest literally anything. So with that being said, a few years ago, my stepmom introduced me to a Broadway musical called Once on This Island. It has such a heartfelt story and such beautiful music. Soon after, I found out that they did a redo of the show, so I ended up looking up clips of it on YouTube, and I fell more in love. Later on, I did introduce my stepmom to the new cast album. So fast forwarding to February 2020, which is my birthday, she was able to get me tickets to Once on This Island. I was ecstatic, but she did tell me that the tickets were the balcony seats, the caca seats, but it didn't matter to me because I had been wanting to see the show for forever. But you know, when it comes to manifesting, I feel it's really important to feel as though you already have it. And what I mean by that is I would be immersing myself in the music and watching the clips, and I would have that joy and happiness. And from that, it causes vibration, which then brought these tickets into my reality. And, you know, then in my excitement of the show, I then said to my stepmom, like, wouldn't it be cool to manifest front row center seat tickets? Because obviously, what have we learned in this teaching? Anything is possible. So I said the thought, and with that, it was both planted in our subconscious minds, and from there, we just let it go. This was definitely something that I wanted, but of course, I was open to whatever will happen. You know, another thing I've learned is to listen. Listen to those gut feelings or to those nudges that are trying to communicate with you. My stepmom got that nudge. She felt called to go online to this ticket reseller called StubHub and look up tickets for the show. But as she was scrolling through, she found 3 available tickets that are in the front row, and they are a few days sooner than our other tickets. In her mind, she thought, okay, I'll buy these ones and then I'll just sell the other ones. I'll just do it. Next thing you know, she calls me up and says, guess what? Here are front row semi-center seat tickets, but they are also cheaper than our other ones. I like to believe that the universe was telling me or reminding me that I was loved because of the pricing of the tickets. The cost was $143, 143, which is the numerical representation of I love you. This was a wow story for us. And from this experience, I noticed that sometimes you just have to go for it. You know, my stepmom was faced with the idea of, oh, it's already pricey, and what if no one wants the other set of tickets? Knowing we were spending so much more than what was planned for the show. but she knew the opportunity was so great that she just had to do it and she just had to take it. But in all, the show was amazing, and I felt like I was living in a dream, and it was just so awesome. And I was in the theater in tears. I left the theater in tears. But the production was incredible, and the universe works in such mysterious ways because the next day we received an email that the original day that we were supposed to go was canceled and that our tickets would be refunded. Clearly, all was orchestrated in ways that we could have never have imagined. And for me, this is why I love this teaching, because we are just in that knowing that it would all go as it should and all is well. For myself, I know that I would want to continue on this path of growth and to continue to pay attention to those gut feelings that are trying to communicate with me. And so with that, in closing, I want to ask you one question. What messages does Spirit have for you? Embrace the wow, knowing you are exactly where you are supposed to be, right here and right now. Sending you so much love and gratitude, and thank you for all that you do for the teens and the inspiration that you share with us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Namaste.
He is so good. So I have the honor of introducing our next speakers, and I have to say that I'm really excited about these because having grown up in this organization as a young minister, it is just really powerful to know that I'm not the only one and that there are others who are coming up through the ranks. And so I'm going to tell you a little bit about them. They're going to be doing something a little bit different today. I love collaborative ministry. I think it's the direction that a lot of our communities are heading. And so they're going to be speaking together. Reverend Dan Granda is dedicated to a graceful uncovering of the human soul, imagining a world where it is common and lovingly accepted to bare your soul openly for others to see. He is the co-founder and co-director of the Soul Evolution Collaborative, an outreach of the Orlando Center for Spiritual Living, which is dedicated to fostering both personal transformation and communal evolution through an innovative bricks and clicks model. Over the last 10 or more years, he has been active in serving the Centers for Spiritual Living on both the local and organizational levels. And Reverend Kris Ashley is the Senior Minister of Celebration Center for Spiritual Living in the Washington, D.C. metro area, and a founding member of the Next Gen Retreat Leadership Team. As the youngest minister in our organization, which she took my title, by the way, Reverend Kris is a revolutionary possibilitarian, a social artist, a spiritual badass, a global transformationalist, and a truth teller. She loves to explore the lines between the mystical and the mundane, the sacred and the profane. She has an inherent gift of holding paradoxes and seeing life from many angles. Reverend Kris believes all people deserve freedom, love, respect, equality, safety, and happiness, and she strives to live by these values in all that she does. Please welcome Reverend Dan and Reverend Kris.
So yes, embrace the now. Being present to this right here and now moment, you can literally change your life. In this very moment, you have the power to create the very experience that you want. It simply comes down to your thinking. Change your thinking, change your life. Job you don't like? Change your thinking. Relationship in trouble? Change your thinking. Something in your life that you don't like? Change your thinking. Your thoughts create your experience. Think positive things, and you will see a positive experience. Picture the life that you want, and it is yours. You can have it because it is all good all the time, because it is all God.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Time out. Hold on.
What? What?
All of this might seem true from the big picture perspective, but this isn't how it actually shows up in most people's lives.
Yeah, but this is the teaching. Change your thinking, change your life.
Well, it's part of the teaching. It might seem all good all the time for some people, but that really glosses over the challenges and struggles that most people face. This is a very privileged view of our teaching, and it certainly isn't true for everyone.
Sounds like you are getting caught up in the world of effect, my friend. Principle is principle.
Well, remember, even in our teaching symbol, the world of effect is still part of oneness.
Huh. Good point. Okay, so how do I teach principle without getting caught up in the effects?
Maybe the two aren't mutually exclusive? I have one word for you, my friend. Wholeness.
Wholeness.
Yes, wholeness allows us to fully embrace cause and effect, principle and law, our humanity and our divinity. Brene Brown says, the irony is that we attempt to disown our difficult stories to appear more whole or more acceptable. But our wholeness, even our wholeheartedness, actually depends on the integration of all of our experiences, including the falls.
Well, that just raises so many questions. At this time of social unrest, a seemingly never-ending pandemic, and one natural disaster after the other, how do we bring this teaching to the world in a way that actually works?
How do we bridge the gap for someone just walking through the door who's never heard this teaching before?
How do we recognize and honor people's experience while also knowing the truth of principle and guiding them to that understanding?
How do we create a world that truly works for everyone when the world seems to be working less and less for more and more people every day?
The answer is embrace the now. The now is key to all of these questions. It can look like many things. It can look like all of the ups and all of the downs. It can look like our most beautiful moments, or it can look like rock bottom. But the now is always pointing us back to our wholeness. Ernest Holmes says, "We are not so cold-blooded as to say to a person with pain that there is no such thing as pain. That is not our idea or purpose." We don't ignore the world of effect. We are not cold-blooded. The world of effect is as real to us as it seems. Holmes also says, "We admit the fact. It is quite a different thing to admit its necessity." We recognize the world of effect, and we recognize that in denying the power of the world of effect, that we are able to transcend the appearance of this effect. We are able to reclaim our power and transcend and transform our experience. We must transcend the appearance, even though we admit it as fact. First, we recognize the appearance, the effect that shows up in front of us, and then we reclaim our power and change our experience.
So often in our teaching, we talk about this idea of turning away from the condition. And yet, if we only turn away from the condition ourselves and we're unwilling to look at it and we put on blinders, we are leaving everybody behind who is still in that condition. And really, in doing that, what is happening is that people are dying in the shadow of our spiritual light. And so instead of turning away from the condition and denying not only the condition itself, but everybody who is still struggling or suffering or having a challenge in that condition, instead we turn towards the condition. We look at it squarely head on and we deny the power that it has over us, returning we remember the truth that God is all there is, that Spirit is all there is, and in doing so, we remember our wholeness and our oneness. We remember that principle is still in the creation of the mess. And when we do that, not only do we deny the effects of the condition, but we support everybody else in doing the same so that we can all come together in the light. And so, we ask you again, what if now is a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day? Oh, hi, Becky. It's so good to see you. We missed you at the center on Sunday. Oh, a cold. Yeah, you sound really congested. Well, have you looked at what was in your consciousness? You created that cold with your negative thinking.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Let's time out here for a second.
What? We know that we create our reality and that everything that happens in our lives is a result of our creative thought. It's even in the Declaration of Principles that Ernest wrote. We believe in the healing of the sick and control of conditions through the power of this mind.
Yes, we do believe that we are co-creating our reality. However, our creation doesn't exist in a vacuum. Everything that we think and create moves through the law, which includes the collective consciousness, too.
You mean race consciousness, right?
Yes. Ernest Holmes often said race consciousness to mean the consciousness of everyone who is here now and who has come before. However, because we're still struggling with racism and othering in this country, we say collective consciousness to be clear that we are speaking about the whole and not just one group of people.
You know, you really shouldn't say we are struggling. You are just creating more struggle.
Acknowledging that a problem exists doesn't create it. We can't heal something that we are unwilling to look at. Kimberly Crenshaw says, when there's no name for a problem, you can't see a problem. And when you can't see a problem, you can't really resolve it. The same is true with Becky and her cold. It isn't helpful to ask someone how they created a certain experience in their life. It is so much more complicated than think a thought, have an outcome. And acknowledging that Becky was sick doesn't create more sickness.
Isn't it my job to help people change their thinking and create a better life?
Yes. And part of that is supporting and loving the people right where they are. Sometimes we don't feel well and it sucks. We can love people through the sucky parts and even let them know that we know it's hard. By acknowledging that Becky was sick, you are supporting her in feeling seen and heard. This not only helps her shift her own beliefs and thinking, it makes her feel better too. Problems aren't like Beetlejuice. Saying their name doesn't make them appear.
So I guess I'm just trying to figure out like how to really use all of this. Like I'm new to the teaching, right? And this all sounds great. And I see everybody else like making these huge changes in their lives. So I guess I'm just curious. How do I actually do this? Like my job sucks. Doesn't pay nearly enough to live on. I've started another side hustle trying to make ends meet. The bank won't approve us for a mortgage, so we're paying almost twice as much in rent a month for half the space. We both have student loans that have more than doubled since we finished school. We'll probably never pay those off. And honestly, I'm kind of tired of living a life that doesn't work for me. It sucks.
You know, you really shouldn't talk like that. You're just going to create more of what you focus on. Besides, there's only good in this universe anyway, so...
Right. It is true that at the universal level, there is only good.
This happens all the time.
It does. We think we're being helpful when, really, we're just diminishing someone else's experience.
Yeah, that one subtle interaction can really turn people away from our teaching and make them not want to learn more or even show back up.
In reality, people just want to be seen. We all have those moments that are just terrible, horrible, no good, very bad moments and sometimes we just need to share them.
So how would you respond in this scenario, Rev Dan?
I would respond to the student with compassion and understanding. It sounds like they are in a really challenging situation right now. I would make sure they feel seen. Then, if it felt right, perhaps begin to introduce some ways of applying principle as a means of beginning to shift their system of beliefs.
I love that. I would also look at what we as ministers and practitioners have been saying. If we continuously bypass people's experiences, then others are going to feel justified in speaking to one another like this. It really doesn't create safe spaces in our communities.
Yeah, not at all. And it is our job as leaders to continue to do our own internal work to ensure that our communities are welcoming and inclusive to everyone, no matter where they are in their journey.
So anyways, I just don't know what to do about my relationship with Sam. I've been really unhappy for the last few months, but I love them so much.
Tell me more about what's been going on, Jessie. What's made you so unhappy?
We just don't seem to be compatible. Sam loves to go out and hang out with friends, and I would just rather stay home and read. I know that I create my reality, so I just try to have fun in any situation I'm in. They always want me to hang out with them and their friends, and no matter how much I want to enjoy myself, I just really don't. But I love them so much, and I can't imagine my life without them in it. I mean, we do have fun together sometimes. Plus, they're the cats in the house, and I know that if I could just change my thinking about the situation, I could be happy.
It sounds like you really love Sam. You want things to work out.
Yes.
And it also sounds like your life doesn't really look like you want it to right now. How would you like to feel?
Well, I want to have a quiet life. I enjoy reading and painting, and I really love an evening that is spent at home with my cats and tea. I feel peaceful and calm when I'm in my space alone or just Sam. I like all their friends, don't get me wrong, and I do have fun when we go out sometimes. I just keep praying that I can be happy.
Have you heard the phrase treat and move your feet? It isn't enough to just do spiritual mind treatment. We also have to put our values and beliefs into action. It sounds like you and Sam have different values. You value your alone time, and Sam values connection. Neither of these is right or wrong. However, you both deserve to have your values recognized and honored. Have you talked to Sam about any of this?
No, it isn't up to them to change. I'm in charge of my own reality.
Well, that is true. We are always co-creating our reality with not only spirit, but everyone else who is in our sphere of influence. It's important to communicate with our loved ones and make sure we're in situations where our needs and desires are getting met. It doesn't make either of you right or wrong.
I hadn't thought of that. I guess I just have always believed that positive thinking would be enough to change any situation.
Well, it's a good start, but positive thinking alone just leads us to bypassing our feelings or trying to stay somewhere we don't belong. What do you feel needs to shift, either internally or externally, that would support both of you?
I need to trust myself and know that I can ask for what I need and want. I definitely think I need to have a conversation with Sam.
Well, you have a great foundation of love and understanding in your relationship for that conversation. What can I know for you today in treatment?
Peace for sure. And really...
Wow, what a great session.
Thanks.
It seems like Jessie is in the place that a lot of people in our teaching are in. We gain just enough knowledge and understanding to use the principles to beat ourselves up when things go wrong.
Yeah, I know. I really wish there was a magic pill.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It would make it a lot easier. But think about all that we would end up missing out on. Part of embracing the now means embracing our growth that is only available in the mess. Remember, Asha Tyson said, "Your journey has molded you for your greater good." And it was exactly what it needed to be. Don't think you've lost time. There is no shortcutting to life. It took each and every situation you have encountered to bring you to the now. And the now is right on time.
I love that quote. Thanks, Rev Dan, for the reminder.
If there is anything the past 2 years have shown us, it is that we don't get to choose which parts of the now we get to embrace.
We are in this beautiful state of evolution and growth, And that can be really messy.
And it has caused a lot of terrible, horrible, no good, very bad days. And that is okay.
Oneness means wholeness, which includes all of this. So remember, embrace the now, because now is right on time.
Go ahead. This is a song I wrote. Brand new song. Can I debut a brand new song for you? A song I wrote with Gary Lynn Floyd to help us remember that we are all beautiful, true, and divine. You are beautiful, true, and divine. You are beautiful, true, and divine. When I look in your eyes, I see you shine. You are beautiful, true, and divine. Can you see the beauty you are? Blazing like a shining star. If only you could see what I see, the perfection of your divinity. And you are beautiful, true, and divine. You are beautiful, true, and divine. When I look in your eyes, I see you shine. You are beautiful, true, and divine. And I know that there are times when you doubt the effects of all you give out. But everyone who knows you agrees that the love you give is your legacy. And you are beautiful, true, and divine. Yeah, you are beautiful, true, and divine. When I look in your eyes, I see you shine. You are beautiful, true, and divine. And I see it in everything you do. I see it in you. I see it in you. Are beautiful, true, and divine. You are beautiful, true, and divine. When I look in your eyes, I see you shine, and you true and divine. And you are beautiful, true and divine. You are beautiful, true and divine. You are. Can you look around the room and just point to someone and say underneath your mask, you are beautiful, true. You are. Just turn. You are. You are. You are. You are. You are. You are so beautiful. You are. You are so beautiful. You are. You are so beautiful. True. True and divine. You are. 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 Beautiful, true, divine. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Karen Drucker, once again. As well, Karen Drucker and David Alt have paved the path for a lot of the New Thought musicians, too. And we're so grateful for you. Also so grateful for Denise Rosier for joining us this week. Such beautiful music. And we're grateful for Lisa Jacobs. I was likening her to Abe Laboriel Jr., the drummer for Paul McCartney's band. I said it's like watching the Laughing Buddha play drums, but you're not. You're like the Laughing Kuan Yin. And we have Jay Lewis on the drums, just holding down a great backbeat, and just bringing a tremendous spirit. Ah, man. You fine. The brilliant, talented, ever-deepening, consciously awakening brother from another mother, Ray Davis.
And let's hear it for Jamie Lula.
Indeed, Dr. Lula.
Yeah.
Dr. Jamie
The man
Lula.
of the day.
Yeah.
I'll be offering house visits. I want to thank Nathan and Rob and Bobby.
We are only as good as our sound team.
Absolutely, they're fabulous. Rob. I want to thank Joe Martin for heading up the crew from BDI. And I am grateful for all of you. I got to Agape in 1994 in a suicidal depression. 9 months after my father died, and I didn't know what to do with the grief. So maybe there's a ministry in there for us to teach our youth, because I don't think many of us have learned how to grieve and be with the pain, because the pain of loss is not just the sadness, it's everything we've experienced with a human being. And, you know, while we're talking about the LGBTQ and Black Lives Matter and whatnot, I also want to just put forward, because I mentioned the other night about the darkness of the soul that I sometimes experience in my life. It's like mental illness is a real thing, and we can't just spiritually bypass it. We have to assist one another to be able to go to those places and to heal those places within ourselves. And like that young minister said, not just, it's all good. It's all good. It is all good, and, you know, and it's not all good. But it is what it is, what it is. So I'm grateful for this teaching. I'm grateful for the way that we're growing and expanding.
Come on, take your time. Take your time.
The song came out of a prayer. My wife was my prayer partner before we started dating. Seriously, first time ever in my life, she was my prayer partner. And one morning I said, in the middle of our prayer, I said, I gotta go because something's calling me. As it's called every one of us. Something's calling me. Something's calling me. Something's calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before. Feels like I'm walking on marbles. Anybody relate? Can't feel it. Is my head in the clouds, my naked legs left dangling? I can feel my heart begin to pound, and everybody's saying something's calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before. Something's calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before. A long dark night, my soul that wanders, can't see the light that moves me. If God is everything and everywhere that I belong, Spirit gently wakes me from my sleep. Oh, something's calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before. Something's calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before. Oh Lord, oh Lord, oh Lord, oh Lord, take me deeper than I've ever been before. Oh Lord, oh Lord, oh Lord, is calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before. Forgiveness is calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before. Let me ask you, what keeps calling you a little bit deeper than you've ever been before? What keeps calling you deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper than you've ever been before? Just call it out. What's calling you? What is that? Inclusion's calling me. Sing it with me. A little bit deeper than I've ever been before. Let's do inclusion once again. Inclusion's calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before. What else is calling you?
Creativity.
Growth. Grief is calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before. And growth, I think I heard growth. Growth is calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before. So I want to ask one of the old timers, like, Ken, what's calling you? Beauty. Beauty's calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before. And one of our younger, Jessica, what's calling you? Joy. Joy is calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before. One more. Which one, David? Ministry, action, America, lunch. Thank you, Sonny. It had to be you. Everything that's calling us, we hold for one another. And we know that God is calling me. And I'm grateful like I've never been before. Thank you for calling me. Thank you for calling me.
Jamie Lula.
Thank you all.
How wonderful to be together again, whether online or in person. I'm Reverend Karen Wilson from Vancouver, Canada. As a member of the CSL events team, I'm honored to introduce our next speaker, who currently serves as the Senior Minister and Co-Spiritual Director of CSL Dallas. Reverend Dr. Petra Weldes demonstrates a wealth of talent. She's known not only as an empowering speaker, but also as an innovative leader in our movement and a dynamic teacher of science of mind. A thought leader in spirituality. Dr. Petra is the co-author of 3 very popular journals. She's been a spiritual coach, leadership teacher, retreat facilitator, and director for over 30 years, serving numerous times with various councils and committees for our global organization. Please welcome Reverend Dr. Petra Weldes to the stage.
Good morning. Good morning for those of you who are here. Good morning for those of you who are online. I'm utterly intimidated by that beautiful technological presentation we had just shortly ago. Are we not done with being intimidated with technology? Holy shit, I can't even believe it. I also want to say, Savannah, thank you very much. I remember when the title of youngest minister in the room was stolen from me. And I'm not that anymore and haven't been for a long time. And so here I am speaking after all of these young people, and I love it. It so warms my heart, and it makes me so excited for our movement. So I'm talking about from chaos to creativity, and we've sure been on that journey, haven't we? So I want to tell you a little bit about myself. I am from the East Coast, from Philadelphia, and when I was in school, when I was in 7th and 8th grade, the girls had to take home ec, and the boys got to take shop. Pissed me off. Oh my God. So in 9th grade, the girls got to take typing. And I said to myself, I am never going to be somebody's secretary. So besides being a 4.4 student, I flunked typing. And then they took me back to typing, and they made me take it the next term, and I flunked it again. I'm never going to be somebody's secretary. Y'all know what happened, right? We all got PCs on our desk. And laptops, and I am my own secretary and my own calendar person and my own everything. Besides being a teacher, speaker, counselor, coach, CEO, compassionate person who sits by the bed, and everything else we're supposed to be as ministers. I was a technophobe. I was never, ever going to get a BlackBerry. Ever. Till somebody gifted me with a Palm Pilot. Oh, are you kidding me? Oh my God. And then you could get these things, these Blackberries, and they had like your phone on it. I'm never doing that. Why would you want to carry your phone around? Oh my God. And then somebody gifted me with that. And then they gifted me with an iPad, and then they told me I had to have a Mac laptop. Oh, you know, I swear a lot at my technology. Really, we have not had a good relationship. Okay, so now let me tell you about cameras, me and cameras. So my dad was a rageaholic, alcoholic. It was a terrible thing to grow up with. And he loved his little camera. He had one of those little cameras, and then he had a light meter. Oh, you young people, you don't even know what a light meter is. Right, he had a light meter, and then stand there. Snow, stand there. Okay, and then you got to fiddle with it. A light meter, and then stand, fiddle. Okay, by this time, he's cursing and swearing, and we're standing there 20 minutes later. Okay, smile, click. I hated being in front of a camera. The first time we had to do videos at CSL Dallas, we were going to jump into the, like be cool age, and we were going to do videos for a program. And so I had to get there and do a little 5-minute video, actually 4 of them. I cried for an hour. I am not kidding you. That little thing staring at me, I was instantly 6. And then the pandemic hit. First, I had to do it for 2 days. As you all know, you've done this, right? I had to do it for 2 weeks in my own room, not by myself, with my beloved wife. And then I had to go into the little studio that we created, and it was me and Ryan and that little camera. I was terrified. I thought, oh my God, I'm never going to be able to do this. I don't know how to do this. Good enough, it's going to be over in 3 months. Won't that be great? It'll be great. 3 months, I can do anything for 3 months. It'll be okay, it'll be okay, it'll be okay. And all I could do is hear myself complain about the technology and the need for technology and the things we had to do, and I realized I was just in this, I had locked myself into resistance. Actually, I had been in resistance since the first time somebody told me about a BlackBerry. That's a lot of years in resistance. That's a lot. Oh no, let's go all the way back to typing. That is a lot of years in resistance. So in this opportunity of moving from chaos to creativity, my first hack for you is to deal with resistance. And my hack for you is a basic science of mind principle. It is called the affirmation. My affirmation for the last 2 blankety blank years has been technology is my friend, technology is my friend, technology is my friend. So I said, technology is my friend, technology is my friend. Technology is my friend. Someday I'm going to have a virtual reality meditation hall. Because I'm no longer afraid of it. Because technology is my friend. The hack for dealing with our resistance and chaos is to use our tools, but also to be authentic about our feelings, to be okay with our experience, while reminding ourselves that we are not alone. One of the deepest, profoundest teachings that I know that provides me with a roadmap when I find myself in these situations are the 4 stages, or as I like to call them, the old language, the 4 kingdoms of consciousness. So I was, for the first part of the pandemic, a victim of technology. Not of the pandemic, I was a victim of technology until I decided to take responsibility. Technology is my friend. Stop hiding my feelings. I'm really, really terrified. It wasn't that I was mad that I had to do it. I was terrified. And I was terrified that I wouldn't be good enough. Even after many, 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 many years of experience as a minister, a whole new thing having to learn. Wait, really? I have to learn something new? Aren't we done with that yet? Oh, no. To take responsibility for my feelings, being with them, and to take responsibility for the fact that resistance is not going to make it better. Shit. So once we get over in resistance, what do we do? Oh, it's 3 months, it's not over. Oh, it's 6 months, it's not over. Are you kidding? It's still not over. And in the meantime, we had cyber attack. We had a massive cyber attack at CSL Dallas, and we had to shut down everything, and then 5 computers got held for ransom. CSL Dallas, we're this big. How much money do you think you're going to get out of us? Are you kidding? Oh my goodness. Unbelievable. We've all been through these, right? All these things. And I remember one day saying to our staff and to our core council, oh, the sprint is over. We are now in the marathon. So I went through the University of Dallas. I got a humanities degree. My thesis was as a Constantine scholar, and I got to read the Iliad and the Odyssey, and I had the pleasure of reading Dante's Inferno. If you don't know what Dante's Inferno is, do not bother reading it. And in the beginning, we do the 7 levels of hell, and then we go through purgatory, and 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 we go through purgatory. Are you bored yet? Oh yeah, he's the only author I know who can make you feel like you are plodding through the desert day after day after day after day after day. Haven't you felt like you've been in purgatory? We still don't know, are we going together, are we in line, are we not in line, are we going, are we being in person, are we in hybrid, how is it? And then technology that falls apart, and then it falls apart again, and then there's new stuff to learn over and over and over again. Plodding through the plains of uncertainty, we have to make friends with uncertainty, ambiguity, and the unknown. We have to learn to say, I don't have a freaking clue. Really, I don't know what we're going to do, but we're going to try something. We're just going to see what happens. We're going to continue to go forward. Why? Because there's something calling us. Jamie Lula, that was the song I had hoped was going to be sung before my talk. And it is so brilliant that that was the one that was chosen. Because something's calling us deeper over and over and over and over again. And part of that deeper is the surrender. The surrender. It is okay to say, I don't know. I don't know what spiritual community looks like 10 years from now. I loved what Edward said. Who do we need to be now? What do we need to be doing now for those people 10 years from now? We don't know, but there is something within us that does know. And it's okay. It's okay for our humanness to be uncertain, to be fearful, to be overwhelmed, to not know. But there is that within us that knows. And I love the word ambiguity. Ambiguity means something has more than one meaning. That's what ambiguity means. So the question is the meaning that we're going to give to it awful? Or is the meaning that we're going to give to it possibility? It's ambiguous. It could be either one. Who gets to choose? We do. And when we can make friends with that and surrender to the idea that we are being called into something new. I have an executive coach who says this was after the first year of the pandemic. She said in the last year, after the first year of the pandemic, we had been catapulted 5 years into the future in terms of technology and organization and business. Well, we're now in the second year of the pandemic. Think about how much further we've been catapulted into the future. So I've had to dig deeper into my faith. Do I trust that there is something calling? Do I trust that there is something within me that knows? My favorite Buddhist saying, which I have been repeating now, that has become sort of my new affirmation or my new mantra, is that when you put your foot out, the road rises to meet your foot. There is no path. There's no path to find, and there's no path to follow. It is in the ambiguity and uncertain and unknown of it is to put the foot out and trust that the universe rises to meet your foot. Because we've had the courage and the willingness to step out, to try, to listen to that intellect and to the wisdom that is moving through us. I think of wisdom as the marriage of intellect and love. The intelligence that is moving through us, the love that seeks to embrace our communities and each other, that provides wisdom. And I have become a deep fan of new words that I would like to put on the list of spiritual qualities besides beauty and grace and love and peace and joy and bliss and harmony and all of those wonderful things that are also perfect and lovely. I'd like to put on that list resilience and sustainability. For me, through this time, I've had to dig deeper into my faith than I have ever needed to dig before. And the trust that I have that, they did not tell me when I first got into Science Mind that it was not a long, steady uphill climb into nirvana. They did not tell me this. I thought if I did my work and did my meditation, did my spiritual mind treatments, and did my everything, then I would never have any problems ever again. I would be like, oh, I'm in bliss all the time. Not so much, right? I want my money back. No. But what I learned is that I wasn't going to die from it. And if I would not be in resistance and I would be willing to use the tools and I would dig into my faith, I would learn and grow and become so much more than I had ever imagined. Have you had that experience? Just tell me yes, yes, right? You've had that experience too. When we're not afraid of it and we don't shut down to it and we don't close it off. And I loved what was said in the video. You look squarely at the condition and we bring our light to it. We don't turn from it. So we try new things, we experiment. In our community right now, we talk about everything as a pilot. We don't actually know if it's going to work. It's okay, we're just trying it out. What I've noticed is people don't like that. I'm sure you've noticed it too. Certainty, we want certainty. Are we doing it or not? I don't know. We're gonna do it for a while and see what happens. We're going to experiment, we're going to try it, we're going to create. Some things are going to fail. But didn't you do your treatment? Well, of course we did. This does not keep the form from failing. Forms change. They are designed to change. Ernest Holmes says, Spirit is forever seeking form and then releasing the form so that it can seek new form. Magnificent, right? None of us are stuck. We are not stuck. So to scale the mountains of innovation is to recognize that the form is what's changing, not the teachings. We are deepening in our teachings. We are growing our teachings. We are evolving our teachings. It is the forms that are inviting us to newness and to change. And boy, haven't we been up to here in that. Yeah. What does a spiritual community in the next 10 years actually look like? I'm sure you've already figured it out, but if you haven't, let me break it to you. We are not going back. We're not. And I can't wait. I know people who in my community say, I can't wait till we go back. Yeah, we might go back into the building, but we are not going back. It is never going to look the same. It's never going to look the same. I love the conversation about disruptive innovation. Disruptive innovation is what we're all engaged in, whether we like it or not. So at CSL Dallas, our theme for 2022, we put this together in November, and we are living it up to our eyebrows already. Our theme for in CSL Dallas for 2022 is Sacred Disruption. Reimagine everything. Really? Oh, reimagine does not mean improve. Oh, reimagine does not mean improve. What does it look like to reimagine? That means we need to become disruptors. Do you know Jesus was the great disruptor? He disrupted the Jewish faith. He disrupted a political system and a religious system that had bought into the politics of the day. He disrupted the idea of caste and of outcasts, and he disrupted the idea of women and the other. He was the great disruptor. And we have the opportunity of doing the same, not just in our communities, but in our culture, in our nation, and in the world, to be the great disruptors. But we might want to practice it a little bit first. So I loved what Cheryl talked about in this disruptive innovation, but there were a couple pieces I wanted to add. One of the things about this philosophy that comes out of the Harvard Business School is that you start small. You take small things, you take them out of your main status quo, which means you might not want to blow up your Sunday celebration just yet. It still works for some people. And start small over here with some entirely new ideas. Whatever that is, whether it's online, small group gatherings, people want engagement, they want authenticity, they want to talk. Sometimes I have a boatload of people who come and listen to me talk for an hour on a Sunday morning in a Science of Mind class. I am reading them the textbook. It's not what the popular wisdom is of what works. Find yours. The grand opportunity right now is that each one of us gets to be sacred disruptors. We know how to disrupt our thought. It's time for us to disrupt the unconscious biases that are running around in our communities and in our culture. We know how to do this. We just have to see it. We know how to disrupt things out of love and out of power. That is our teaching, love and law. Presence and principle, which is also the power that makes things work. This is a grand opportunity we have to disrupt the status quo of spirituality and religion for humanity today. We are on the leading edge of that if we will stop trying to be mainstream. If we will stop trying to look like everybody else, sound like everybody else. In our community, we're taking away all the language that applies to church, including the word God. Ooh, that sucked the air right out of the room. Notice when we are disrupted, we are uncomfortable. And yet, this is the moment. This is the now that we are in. Oh, my friends, like Edward, I have so much belief in our philosophy, in our movement, and in you. Seize the moment. Embrace the now. So it is.
Wow, what a morning. I just want to say thank you to Charlie, Reverend Dan, Reverend Kris, and Dr. Petra for your incredible speaking this morning. Who's ready for lunch? I am. So lunch is going to be provided outside at the Grove from 11:30 to 1. You don't need to arrive right at 11:30. It's going to be set up until 1 o'clock. I just want to let you know where that is. So directions to get to the lunch area. You're going to go out these doors here. You will take a left, go through the parking lot, past the tennis courts, and you're going to look for a string of lights. You will see people there, and lunch will be provided out there. It is warm, so plan accordingly. You could say we just need to embrace the sunshine. All right, what else? Voting remains open today until... There's no time on the card. 4 o'clock. All right, 4 o'clock. Election results will be posted on the convention website tonight and announced Friday morning here. And right?
Having fun? Having fun? There we go. I knew you were out there. So here's the thing. Have you noticed the theme that's unfolding?